Global Times, 16th of April 2024, China-German cooperation is an avoidable opportunity rather than a market risk. China is frantic to dominate European markets and is employing every strategy possible to subjugate the continent. On Tuesday, Chinese President Xi Jinping urged Germany and China to develop and maintain bilateral relations strategically and long-term and collaborate to infuse the international community with more excellent stability and certainty. Xi delivered the statement amidst a meeting with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who, after guiding a large delegation to Chongqing and Shanghai, concluded his three-day visit to China in Beijing. In light of the European Union's allegations of subsidies for Chinese wind turbines and electric vehicles, EVs, and the overcapacity hysteria instigated by the United States, Xi advocated for an objective and dialectical approach to the production capacity issue. According to Xinhua News Agency, the two leaders engaged in a comprehensive discussion regarding the Ukraine crisis and other regional and international matters of mutual interest to them. According to media reports, Xi and Scholz also strolled through the grounds of the Dialectical State Guesthouse on Tuesday in the pleasant spring breeze. A lovely ambience characterized Scholz's visit as he visited the China facilities of German corporations and engaged in dialogues with students at Chongqing University in Shanghai, an institution established a century ago by a German physician that maintains a strong partnership with Germany. According to Wang Yiwei, director of the Institute of International Affairs at the Renmin University of China, Scholz has maintained a strategic equilibrium despite pressure from other parties, such as the EU and the US, as evidenced by his packed and extensive schedule and his remarks on some sensitive topics. Wang told the Global Times on Tuesday that China, in its perpetual esteem for Germany and the EU as partners, can offer Germany the certainty it is desperately lacking due to three lingering uncertainties: the Ukraine crisis, the US presidential elections, and the European Parliament elections. Some observers are surprised by the magnitude of the visit's positive outcomes, and Wang concurs that Scholz's visit and the leaders' meeting have infused much-needed positivity into the tumultuous China-EU relationship. Analysts believe that Germany, following an in-depth engagement with China, will continue to lead the rational voices within the EU when a populist wind appears to be intensifying within the EU, resulting in oppositional and biased views of China. Logistics supply chain. Xi stated during the meeting on Tuesday that the industrial and supply chains of China and Germany are intricately intertwined, as are the markets of the two nations. Xi stated that the cooperative efforts between China and Germany, which are advantageous for both parties, do not constitute a risk but rather a future opportunity and an assurance of stability in bilateral relations. Xi noted that the two nations have enormous potential for win-win cooperation in emerging and traditional sectors, such as digital, artificial intelligence and automobile manufacturing, as well as green transformation. Xi further stated that the two parties should maintain the unique attributes of mutual benefit and win-win outcomes to achieve mutual success. For instance, China's exports of photovoltaic products, lithium batteries, and electric vehicles have bolstered global supply, mitigated inflationary pressures and significantly contributed to the international effort to combat climate change and transition towards a green and low-carbon economy. Xi stated that the two countries should be vigilant against rising protectionism, examine the issue of production capacity objectively and dialectically from a market-oriented and global perspective, adhere to economic principles, and foster further cooperation, Xinhua reported. Xi emphasized that both China and Germany rely heavily on industry and support free trade and financial globalization. Scholz, for his part, expressed his admiration for China's development accomplishments and the strong collaboration between German and Chinese enterprises during his recent visit. He stated that Germany is committed to further enhancing its ties with China, expanding bilateral cooperation and dialogue across multiple domains, and fostering people-to-people exchanges in critical areas such as education and culture. This is of great significance to both nations and the global community as a whole. Germany supports free trade and opposes protectionism. Scholz stated that Germany, as a significant EU member, is eager to actively promote the positive development of EU-China relations. On Tuesday, Premier Li Qiang of China and the Chancellor of Germany attended the China-Germany Economic Advisory Committee Symposium in Beijing. Approximately 20 entrepreneurs from both nations were in attendance. Li emphasized that the Chinese government is eager to collaborate with the German government to enhance policy support, foster a more streamlined and effective partnership, and facilitate sustainable, stable, and healthy economic and trade cooperation growth between the two nations. For 8 consecutive years, China has regarded Germany as its most significant trading partner worldwide. Germany has been China's largest trading partner in Europe for the past 49 years. Tuesday, senior research fellow Sun Yanhong of the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences Institute of European Studies stated to the Global Times that the stately delegation exemplifies in its entirety the great regard Germany has for China. Wang stated that Scholz could have gained a better understanding of the thorny EV issue by visiting Chinese factories, where he realized that the competitiveness of the Chinese EV industry is not derived from subsidies but rather from infrastructure, affordable energy, and technological innovation. Imposing punitive tariffs would be a lose-lose situation, He Weiwen, a senior fellow at the Center for China and Globalization, advised China and Germany to concentrate on expanding the cake rather than cutting it. If China and Germany can cooperate on the EV sector, that is to say realizing benign competition, it would stimulate the sluggish global economy. Sun emphasized the potential for collaboration on green transformation in a more comprehensive sense, including intelligent manufacturing and autonomous transportation. Sun stated that China and Germany, as the second and third largest economies in the world, respectively, have a global obligation to contribute to the stability of worldwide supply and industrial chains and to facilitate cooperation. In a previous interview with the Global Times, Gazette Larouche, the founder of the Schiller Institute, a political and economic think tank based in Germany, stated that it would be suicidal for an export-oriented economy such as Germany to adhere to these recommendations regarding de-risking. They are fostering harmony. Amidst significant geopolitical tensions and flashpoints, analysts emphasize that communication and coordination between China and Germany are vital for promoting global peace and maintaining geopolitical stability to the greatest extent possible despite their distinct cultures, systems, and ideologies. Regarding the protracted Ukraine crisis, which has resulted in significant losses for Europe, Xi put forth 4 principles aimed at averting the crisis's uncontrolled escalation and expediting the restoration of peace. We must prioritize the maintenance of peace and stability over the pursuit of self-serving interests. Second, we must calm the situation to prevent further fuel from being added to the conflagration. Third, we must avoid exacerbating tensions further and establish the conditions necessary for the restoration of peace. Xi stated, fourth, we must minimize the adverse effects on the global economy and avoid compromising the stability of global supply and industrial chains. Tuesday, Lin Zhen, a spokesman for the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, stated that Germany and China are dedicated to preserving the principles and objectives of the United Nations Charter, which include the protection of territorial integrity and sovereignty. Respecting this is imperative as it is the basis for a sustainable security architecture. Lin stated that China and Germany are willing to maintain close and active communication regarding the forthcoming high-level meeting in Switzerland and other pertinent international events. They also support and encourage efforts to find a political solution for peace in Ukraine. China and Germany advocate for several shared principles: adherence to international humanitarian law, safeguarding civilian lives, the prompt reciprocal release of prisoners of war, opposition to attacks on nuclear power plants and other non-combatant atomic facilities, and appropriate resolution of international food security concerns without impeding food production and exports, and protection of civilians and early mutual release of prisoners of war by fundamental rights principles. This matter has significantly impeded China-EU and China-Germany relations, which has fostered political mistrust. As a result, Sun thinks President Xi's proposals can more effectively clarify uncertainties regarding China's position and strengthen areas of agreement, most notably the prohibition of nuclear weaponry. According to researchers, the crisis's high energy costs could keep the German economy from growing. At the same time, a potential Trump presidential run in the U.S. could cause hostility to resurface in the transatlantic relationship. According to them, the pressing objective is to reduce the effects of global tensions and uncertainty rather than igniting further hostilities or conflict. On Tuesday, Xi and Scholz also discussed the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and other international and regional issues of mutual concern. Scholz expressed Germany's readiness to optimize communication and coordination with China, collaborate on tackling worldwide matters like climate change, maintain the integrity of the multilateral international order, advance world peace and development, and abstain from confrontation.